Hey friends, I am super happy to be sharing this layout with you. I talk a lot about how I've only been scrapbooking for 4 years, but October 23rd is officially my scrapversary, if you celebrate that sort of thing. The beautiful thing about scrapbooking on Instagram for the entire time that I've been doing it is I have a digital record of everything I've made and when I started sharing. And October 23rd was the first day I shared something on my scrapbooking Instagram. So we're going to be documenting that because that's kind of a big deal. And I was super inspired to document this because I saw a layout that my friend Lisa Varshine made, and I was like, yes, totally doing that. She also celebrated 4 years this October, and I was like, yes, totally doing that when my time rolls around. So I'm gonna go grab a few things and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're gonna do one of my favorite things since we're talking about how my scrapbooking is how it has evolved and changed. So we're gonna do one of my favorite things, which is ink blending. But the reason I am taping off my stencil is because this is a 6x8 stencil, and the stencil itself is actually only 7.5, so it is smaller than my canvas, and I do not want to get ink on to the paper where the stencil doesn't reach. So I'm quickly masking it off. I'm gonna grab some of my Actually, I'll use a few of my small blending tools today. These are the Altenew small blending tools. These are, if you've been here for any amount of time, you know how much I love the Altenew blending tools. I'm a huge fan of these. I have the large ones, but I got a few of the small ones also. And they're so soft and pretty. And I like them because they can get into really small spaces. And since we're going to be doing a rainbow. Of course, we're doing a rainbow. This will make it really easy. Okay, and I'm of course going to be using my Distress Oxides for my ink blending because this is what we do here. We use Distress Oxides all the time for ink blending, and I intentionally reached for the more pastel colors because I am going to stamp over this. And if I go with like really like super saturated opaque colors, then it's going to be just hard for me to see the stamping. So I grabbed spun sugar, scattered straw, wild honey, bundled sage, tumbled glass, and shaded lilac. And I will, of course, link these in the description box like I normally do if you're interested in the colors that I'm reaching for. Tashi's always making rainbows. And honestly, I can't remember the last time I started a rainbow with red. I just assume pink is the first color of the rainbow, and that's where I go. I almost never start my rainbows with red. I like starting my rainbows with pink. It's just a thing I do. It's a choice I make. All right. So we're going from the pink into the orange. Wild honey is a beautiful, it's definitely a more yellow based orange than has red in it. So it's a really good transition from pink to yellow. So just gonna pop these in. We're gonna run through this rainbow and then we'll keep going. So some quick thoughts on ink blending as I'm working my way through this rainbow. You do not need to have a different brush for each color. I do so much ink blending that with the small ink tools because they came in a set of 4, it just made sense for me to get 2 sets so I could have a devoted brush to each color family. So I have one for blue, green, what have you. I'm gonna save one for just white pigment inks, and then I have one for reds. But you don't need to have an ink blending tool for every color. You can have, I only have 3 of the large ones. I don't have like a full set of the large ones. What I do is if I'm using the large ones, I keep a microfiber towel on my desk, and I just scrub off the extra ink off the microfiber towel between colors, and then just test it on a piece of scratch paper. So you just rub off the excess ink on the towel until there's no longer any ink coming off the brush, and then you test it on a piece of scratch paper, and that is enough to help you transition from color to color. So you don't need to have a full, stash of ink blending tools to get something like this. So here we go. We're going to pull off that tape. And this is the reason I masked it, because I knew I was going to get off the stencil with the ink. And there we go. Oh, I think that's so pretty. Yay. Yay, rainbows. And I'm doing a star rainbow because I'm going to be pulling in bits and pieces from the Celebrate story kit to help me tell this story. All right, so we're going to take this off, get this off the desk, and keep going. So this project is heavily based, like I said, on one that Lisa made and shared. And something she did that I loved in hers was she stamped the number of Instagram followers that she had over her journaling, and I thought that was super smart. So what I decided to do was pull out my MISTI and do some stamping. Now, what I've been doing with my MISTI recently that's been really let's say life-changing, because that's the phrase I like to use here. That's been really life-changing is I've been putting a piece of like sticky mat in my MISTI and then using the magnet to hold the sticky mat down versus using the magnet to hold the piece of paper that I'm stamping down. This just gives me more stamping real estate, and then I'm constantly not like fussing with magnets, which is the thing. So, oh, this is so noisy. I'm so sorry. I have some stamps from Carrie Bradford's studio. This is the Outnumbered one. And I think Carrie said she was bringing this back if it's sold out. So if it's sold out, if it's not sold out, I'll link it in the description box. But if it is, she did say she was in the process of bringing it back. So what I want to do is stamp the number going like this is vertically. Oh my God, I can't even do orientations. So what I want to do is stamp the number going vertically down, and it can't go down the center of the page, as I'll show you why. So I'm going to stamp the number going down vertically, and this is why I wanted to make sure that my stamps were more on the muted pastel side, and I'm just using my T-square to make sure that my line of numbers looks straight, because the last thing I want is for this to be like crooked, right? It'll probably be crooked anyway, because this is me we're talking about, but if I can get it close to straight, that 8 is not straight at all. If I can get it close to straight, that'll be great. And then what I want to do is spell out the word 4 using the 0 as an O. That, you know, that felt clever. I don't know if it is clever, but it felt clever. So here I have the Denali XL alphabet stamp. And so I'm going to put, and this is the wicked thing about the MISTI, you guys. So I can do this all at one time. Like I can load this all up in my MISTI and then stamp it all. And I'm not stamping like 8 individual characters, or I guess 7 at this point. And also doing it this way, I can make sure that it fits the way I want it to. So I'm going to put my T-square this way. Let's just make sure that that's, oh, I'm moving the 2. Never mind. We're going to go ahead and say that's straight. And if it's not the end of the world. All right, perfect. So that's that's my design. So I have the 8023, which is how many Instagram followers I have this morning. And then the 4 with the 0 as the O. So I'm going to close this, pick up my stamps, and see, since I have that sticky grid down, and my magnets are holding the sticky grid down to the paper, everything is nice and stable. And this is a trick I picked up from Jennifer McGuire. You guys, I am not clever. Everything I know, I learned from Jennifer McGuire, especially when it comes to the MISTI. Everything I know, I learned from her. And I'm going to use VersaFine Nocturne. VersaFine Clair in Nocturne. This is my favorite black ink. It's funny because I never reach for pigment inks, but for some reason my favorite black ink is a pigment ink. I don't know. I don't make the rules, you guys. I don't. All right, so let's see how many times I have to stamp this down for it to be clean. Now these are new stamps, so I imagine I'll have to do it more than once, which is okay. But I will not leave all the footage in. But yeah, if it's a new stamp and I didn't prime them, I just popped them right in here. So we'll see how many times I have to stamp it down to get a clean impression. Wow, that was pretty good on the first one. Okay, so we'll just do one more time. We'll take these stamps off, get them cleaned up, and we'll keep going. So after I took it out of my MISTI, I ran it through my Gemini Junior with a piece of just plain printer paper, because I wanted to see if I could lift up some of that pigment ink, and if because pigment ink takes a while to dry. So I ran it through my machine to see if I could pick up some of that pigment ink, and look at the cool effect it got. So we lifted up the pigment ink, and now you can kind of see the stars through the pigment ink, and I'm hoping it's coming through on camera, but it did exactly what I wanted it to do. Now, my paper is also, that's a fun print. I might save that for my art journal. My paper is totally a little bit like curled up, and that's because I had it on a sticky mat. And if you have a silhouette, then you know the perils of a new mat and how sticky it is. But that's okay because we're sticking it down to something, and I know it's going to straighten out really soon. So here is my journaling in typical Tashi form. I wrote an essay. So I'm going to score this at 5 inches with my mini scoreboard. This is a 10 by 8.25 10 by 8.25 canvas that I did my journaling on. I went in and pulled in a little bit from the Celebrate story kit. This blue title was on a journaling card. I just used the marquee tool to, you know, take it off the journaling card, put it on top of my journaling, like pretty rudimentary hybrid stuff. That did not fold. This is why we have a bone folder. Hold on. I have the Teflon bone folder and I never use it. And then I'm always like ruining my folds. So we're gonna get my bone folder. So this Kokuyo tape is the winner. It's probably, one of my favorite things about adhesives are adhesives that have a dry back time, like adhesives that take a minute to fully bond to what you're sticking it to. And this Kokuyo tape is just like that, which gave me a little bit of wiggle room to rip off the cover since I stuck it on the wrong side. The other thing I did was, because I didn't leave myself any room to attach it into the album, was I took a little bit of the scrap transparency from that piece that I trimmed down and I stuck it to the back side of my flip element, and then I covered the whole back side with copy paper, because remember I had put adhesive all over this and then had to rip it up because I didn't know what I was doing. I promise you I do know what I'm doing. That's not true. I might know what I'm doing maybe 90% of the time, and the other 10% of the time I'm totally making it up as I go. All right. So this will be how I attach it into the album, and then I'm going to just put holes in my transparency element, and we are going to wrap this page up. So now I have to remember to put holes on this side, because that's the other thing I've done, is I put holes all on the same side of a page, and it's supposed to be a 2-page spread. So if you put holes all on the same side, then it's not a 2-page spread anymore. It's just, I don't even know what it is. All right. Okay, holes are done. Sometimes the holes, I will say, sometimes the holes are the most stressful part of making my page, because I put the holes, again, on the wrong side, and then I have to go back to the drawing board and either restart the layout or try to figure out how to fit the holes where I want it. So I really wanted to put this piece, this is what made me think about making this layout, was this Celebrating This Story piece. But now that I'm looking at it, it is too wide for the transparency. So I could put it on the photo collage. Let's see. I could put it on the photo collage right there, but then it kind of gets lost. So do I ink blend over it, or do I just not use it? Or do I put it sideways like this? I could put it sideways like that. Oh, I like it like that. All right, I think I'm going to put it sideways like that on the transparency piece. And then all of my pages are going to be different sizes, because this is a little bit wider with that pull element. So I'm just going to grab out some embellishments. I loved my Celebrate kit, so I don't have a lot of it. I mean, obviously I have all the cards. I always end up with all the cards, but as far as like embellishments go, I loved my Celebrate kit, so there's not much left. All right, so I like this piece that says "This is worth celebrating." So I went ahead and I used some of that same Kokuyo tape runner to adhere the Celebrating This Story piece to my DIY transparency. And then I like this pink arrow that's pointing to the "This is worth celebrating" piece. So I might layer those two together like that. And this is just a screenshot of my Instagram like 3 or 4 days ago. I'm not sure, but it's not like on the day that I'm making it. I just wanted to make sure I remembered to take a screenshot of it. The last thing I wanted to start working on the project. I mean, a screenshot's probably the easiest photo you can take though. So it wouldn't have been the end of the world if I didn't have it. But I really just wanted to make sure I had the screenshot. So I took the screenshot. Ooh. I like this. All right, so let's pick one of these red ones. Oh, and then I have this Celebrate This one that I'm going to put on top of the stamping. So I'm going to put it on top of the UR, on top of the 4. So we're putting chipboard on both sides. That's my thing, is if I'm putting something on one side, I got to make sure I put it on both sides. And then do I want to carry the red over? I totally want to carry the red over. So I like this one that says "Progress Made." So I'm going to stick that down. And I like to do things in 3s. So by doing this, I have my 3 embellishments. I do want to put something here. Well, I don't want to put blue again. So I might just reach into my chipboard stash or like a puffy sticker or something to fill in some of this empty space. All right, so I went ahead and I pulled out 2 more chipboard elements from my stash. There's this yellow piece that says hooray, which is perfection, and then this orange one that says good times. These are both from other Ali Edwards chipboard sheets. I keep all my chipboard together when I break my kits up, so I just went rifling through it to find a piece that works. And then I grabbed that another red sticker that said currently, so I put it on top of it, and it says currently celebrating this story, and that is going to complete this page. I really like this like fun little chipboard cluster. Normally I do them on the bottom, so it's kind of fun doing it up top and pointing to the other side. And then I have my transparency piece with the big celebrating this story. I love this wood veneer, and I'm so glad I finally got it on a page. I've been hoarding it, and hoarding it is not how we tell stories. And then I have that fun stamped with the stencil and my story. So guys, I just want to say thank you for the last 4 years. Thank you for making this the adventure of a lifetime. Thank you for following along. Thank you for all of your comments and all of your support, and for giving me space and room to share my stories with you, and for sharing your stories with me in return. I wrote in my journaling, if I could go back and do it all over, I wouldn't change a single thing, because every step brought me right to this day and right to this moment where I'm sharing this story with you. So again, thank you for the last 4 years. Cheers to the next 4 years, and to however many more. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and I'll see you around. Till next time, keep it crafty and have the very best day. Bye.